I left my country when I was 17 years old, but still I'm emotionally deeply grounded in the Iranian culture in the Middle East. And yet, I would say rationally, I'm quite Western. I'm obviously Western educated. So my identity is that of a hybrid identity. There's this constant duality in me, in the way I live, the way I look, and the way my work is informed. My name is Shirin Neshat. I'm a visual artist and a filmmaker. Ever since the beginning, I seem to have this very unconventional practice, as I tend to simultaneously work in different mediums. I started with still photography and quickly moved to video installations. And then at some point I moved towards cinema. I've made 3 feature films, and I'm working on directing operas. For me, still photography is always about creating human portraiture, because I find human expressions endlessly interesting. No matter how many millions of times it's been recreated. And I like the idea of that frozen moment and creating an experience for the audience that is so instant, so immediate. But with the moving picture comes the art of storytelling and the use of music, choreography, performance, all helping to create a mood that seduces the audience in a very, very different way than a photograph could. Through my life and my work, the greatest inspiration for me have been Iranian women. And I think part of that is my own struggle as a woman alone in a foreign country, and the issues that I had to deal with, the struggles, but also the need to survive. And I think that in many ways I have looked at Iranian women in the way that they've always been cornered one way or another by various governments, but they've always been survivors, oppressed but survivors, and rebellious. And I think that's been the greatest inspiration for me as a woman. I grew up in a small, very conservative religious town where people were very guarded, but inside of their home it was a different reality. And I remember very vividly we lived in a very simple but old house with many gardens that, for me, it was reminiscent of Persian miniature paintings in terms of its symmetrical look. There are many things I don't remember very well anymore from Iran, but the one thing I remember is my memories in this house, in this garden, and how emotionally important it was for me. In my work that is highly political and disturbing and dark and often very melancholic, aesthetics are very important to me. So the art of calligraphy and its suggestion of beauty, which is really rooted in Islamic and Persian art, is a very important tool for me to appeal to the audience in terms of composition and all of that. But it's also important to keep in mind, though, those poetry, those words, those texts are very meaningful. They're not just purely decorative or arbitrary. I think it's a choice of artists how close they want to come to the subject of social political reality. I would say that this is very vastly different for artists who are born into politically volatile cultures, such as in the Middle East, where we don't really have that moral, psychological, and emotional possibility to distance ourselves from political reality because our lives are defined by that. But I would say a Western artist has the choice whether how close or how distant they want to be from political reality. One of the things that are becoming major character of my films shot in New York, in Brooklyn, is the trains. I love to take the subway. I love to be able to be so voyeuristic in looking at the people, the passengers, and coming from different corners of the world, different looks and ethnicities and race, and it just makes me think about how much I love New York for what it represents of the best of America, but also the messiness, the chaos, the ugliness of the, that we see in that kind of urban environment, in the train, on the street, yet the beauty that we also find at the same time in people, in little unexpected moments. And it just makes me feel this is where I belong. This type of duality, which is exactly what my work is about, it's all embodied in the city that I love more than anything.